Okay, so what is going on? Like, it almost feels like you cannot turn on YouTube without seeing another person quitting. And now, not for nothing, after watching a few of these videos of these guys quitting, I completely understand. Good morning. Man, it is early, but yeah, we are in Amsterdam, heading into the office really quick and hopefully get out for lunch and make a video. Okay, I don't know where I am. I think it's this way. Ah, dang it, wrong side. The ferry's on the other side. Hey, man, but it does look pretty nice. Right? Doesn't it look nice today? Man, come on, look at that shot right there. Come on. Okay, so I think it's about time for us to head to the ferry, catch the 9 o'clock ferry, and then head to office, get some work done, and then I guess I'll be right back. All right, made it back to Harlem. I actually came back on my lunch break, so I went early to the office, and then I kind of dipped out on my lunch. But anyway, I want to pull up and talk to you guys because a lot of you guys may not notice, but I've actually been on YouTube for a while now. Like, I've been on YouTube maybe a little over 9 years. I mean, I had a channel where I made like sort of short films on about my life. Then I started like another channel, which was a comedy channel. But then I got hurt and couldn't walk for a year, but I still want to make videos. So I made an animation channel. Yes, I learned how to animate. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best, but the point was I still wanted to create videos. Then I also started a travel channel because everybody wanted to see where me and my wife were going, and it just made more sense. So I started that channel while I had the animation channel. Then I gave up that animation channel and started this channel. But yeah, the reason I brought all this up was because I received a few DMs asking me what I thought about all these creators quitting. And I will say, one of the things that stood out to me the most, and one of the biggest red flags I noticed with a lot of these guys, was that they made YouTube their whole life. And look, not for nothing, I don't even mean like they've been doing it forever, like they've been doing it their whole life. What I mean is they made it the top priority in their life. And to me, that right there is just a big red flag, because I learned at a young age that you cannot make something evolve around your life. Like, legit, a bunch of these guys were just talking, the way they talked about how their whole life kind of surrounded YouTube. They eat, breathe, and sleep YouTube. That's not the way it works. And again, it doesn't work like that with anything. And now listen, don't get it twisted. I am not saying not to dedicate or commit yourself to someone or a few things like YouTube, for example. Now, YouTube, you kind of need to dedicate and commit to it if you're serious about it. That's just the way it is, because it is hard work. What I'm simply saying is that you can commit and dedicate yourself to something without having it revolve around your life, revolving your whole life around this thing. That is what I'm saying. It is possible. And I'm being dead serious. Nothing good comes from just evolving your life around it. Nothing. Like, I legit remember when I was working at the movie theater in Atlanta, Regal 24, and I met this girl there, and I freaking loved this girl. She was amazing. She was just, she was sauce. You know, I was young, but yeah, I would see her every day. I would pick her up from work. I would wait for her when she get off work. I was just my life kind of revolved around this girl. And needless to say, this was probably the worst relationship I've ever been in. It was so toxic. The more and more I revolved my life around this girl, the worse the relationship got. And to be honest, this kind of made sense because it led to me dropping the ball in a lot of other things, because I was so focused on her and just everything revolving around her. I wasn't taking care of myself to the point where she got tired of being around me sometimes. Like, it really got to that point. And you know what? The moment we broke up, like for real, the moment, like instantly, I understood what I did wrong. I should not revolve my life around this girl. And now, when it comes to YouTube and content creating, the same rules apply. Like, you cannot, like, it doesn't make any sense for me to be proud or be killing it in YouTube if I'm not killing it at home. And legit, that's how you get toxic relationships, because you revolve your life around this thing, around this person, and next thing you know, you're forgetting about your mom. Next thing you know, you're forgetting about spending time with family. And yeah, it shouldn't be like that. Sometimes you gotta leave certain things at the door. I'm just super safe. And so after seeing these guys and hearing them talk about them quitting YouTube and why, the first thing I thought about was how toxic that relationship between them and YouTube was. And I'm being dead serious. Like, it legit just reminded me of when I was dating that girl. It was exactly the same thing. And it was crazy because everybody else saw this toxic relationship except for me. So, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, sometimes you gotta step away. Like, sometimes you're just too close to it to see what's really going on. You gotta step away from the elephant to actually see the elephant. And the best way to do this is start by setting boundaries. For me, I have a schedule. And I mean, I try my best never to let this interfere with that. I mean, the time with my kids and the time with my wife it's so important to me. And that's why sometimes I just leave YouTube at the door. Like, it stays at the door. Same with work. I had a really, really bad issue with this when I was back in LA and I was working on a promo. I would take work with me everywhere. And again, terrible mistake. You gotta set boundaries, and sometimes you just gotta leave it at the door. Something else that I noticed that all of these guys had in common was that they tend to overscale. And now look, guys, I'ma keep it 1,000 with y'all. This is a trap. And the reason this is a trap is because it's an easy way to create a job for yourself that you hate. And it can happen so fast that you'll look up one day and you don't even realize it happened. All you were trying to do was just hire somebody to edit the video. Then you hire somebody to make the thumbnails. Then you hire somebody to help you with scripting. Then you hire somebody to help you research. Then you hire somebody, and the list just goes on and on. And next thing you know, you're doing all this management, then you're doing this payroll, then you're doing this HR stuff, then you're doing this, then you're doing, like, it's just, you're doing everything but your passion, the thing you love, the thing you got into it for. You're doing everything but creating. Which is a real shame, because I bet a lot of these guys, just like me, remember the days. I mean, I still do it now. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of these guys remember the days where they would rush. They couldn't wait to get off of work just so they could make a video. Like, couldn't wait to pick up a camera. Couldn't wait to just start creating something that they've been thinking about or had an idea for. They probably just had that, like, that pure excitement, that curiosity, all of that. They probably had all of that, just like me. And now they gotta worry about how they're gonna pay their employees. They gotta worry about, like, who to let go because they're not performing well. There's just so much stuff that goes into scaling too fast and too big that sometimes it's not really worth it. Again, you're doing all the things that you hate. You hired an assistant so she can take care of the email, but now all you're doing is doing emails and, like, going through documents. You're doing everything that you didn't want to do. And to me, this is especially true for creators, because a lot of us want to create. We want to create. We don't want to do emails. We don't want to negotiate deals and all that stuff. We have to, but we don't want to do it. We want to focus on the creating. And again, this is where it gets tricky, because for a lot of us, we don't want to be managers. And look, I'm not saying that we're all lazy or anything like that, but what I am saying is there's a reason why we got into it, and that why it seems like when people overscale, that why changes and it's forgotten. So on this YouTube journey, I highly recommend, if you're gonna scale, do it at your own pace and your own level. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing, how they're building these big don't worry about any of that. Because at the end of the day, everybody's wired differently. Everybody has different lives. Everybody's at a different point in their life and in their creative journey. So there's no point trying to keep up with all these other people. Oh, this person got this office. You know, I think I need to move into a big office. Like, no. Oh man, got my hand all dirty. And look, I'm being dead serious, for real. Listen to your boy Sky Money. Scale at your own pace, meaning if you only need an assistant to handle your emails, just get an assistant. If you enjoy editing, do the editing yourself. It don't matter if you think that you're gonna end up creating more, because what I also noticed too is that a lot of people think that they'll start making more stuff when the reality is they start making least stuff because they're managing all of this other stuff that they scaled to. Not to mention, again, they created a job that they hate for themselves. So scale at your own pace. I mean, I think that's a huge deal. Scale, write it down, scale at your own pace. Okay, so I was sitting here waiting for my cappuccino and I instantly had a crazy thought, which is I've noticed that there's a trend of people who still have their 9-to-5 jobs and keep in YouTube. They don't tend to get burnt out or quit. I'm being dead serious. And look, I want you guys to really take a second and think about that. People who still have their jobs and doing YouTube, they're not burnt out. They're not tired. They're not quitting. Think about it. It's very interesting to see, especially if you know creators, because I know creators who still have jobs and who still create and make enough money, but they still have their job. So why aren't these people burning out when it seems like they're doing more work than what a full-time creator would do realistically on the day-to-day basis? Why is that? Oh, that's me. It's my cappuccino. Reason for this is that if you're doing YouTube and you have a 9-to-5 job, a regular 9-to-5 every day, full time, you're basically being forced to have a healthy balance between work, family, friends, and then YouTube. And now look, pimpin', don't get me wrong, because when I say balance, I'm not really talking about a work-life balance. I think that's completely different. But somehow, I'm telling you, there is a balance that you develop when you're doing YouTube and full-time job and family and all that. There is a balance that you just naturally develop. And now I could be completely wrong about this, but I'm being honest. When you have your full-time job, or if you're in school full-time and you're doing YouTube, you just have a certain balance that it automatically goes there because you have to do your schoolwork, or you gotta go to work to pay bills. I think what I'm trying to say is that when you have something like a 9-to-5 job, there's a clear break from creating, which somehow helps you balance it all, because it's this break takes your mind off of just creating and being an artist for just long enough for you to get your mind out, legit. We all have those days where we look at the YouTube studio page and 10 out of 10. The video that we love to make was a 10 out of 10. And then for some reason, the moment I go and do my job or I go play with my kids without thinking about that, I don't feel as bad. And I also think that with this break, the break doesn't have to be a literal break of relaxation or anything. The break could literally just be working on something else, that's unrelated to creating videos. And that's what I think that balance comes from. And I feel like when it comes to doing YouTube or any kind of content creating and you're doing it full time, I feel like this is so easily lost because you're thinking, well, I'm my own boss, I can do my own thing. But the reality is now, you being your own boss, there is some stress that comes along with that. What if these videos don't perform and all this other stuff? I mean, because let's be real, you're gonna need a way to pay these bills. Because next thing you know, you're taking sponsorship deals that you don't want to take because you need the money. And then, God forbid, you just overscaled. And then it just makes that whole balancing issue 20 times worse. You just have to make sure that you have a balance. Because legit, when I was listening to MatPat, when he was talking about just his priorities, it made sense why he would quit. I love the guy. This ain't a diss track for nobody. I'm just super saying, it's clear that he did not have a balance of his YouTube career and his YouTube business and his life. There was no balance, and there were almost no boundaries. And now, even for me, I've been on YouTube for a while, but I'm gonna be honest, a lot of my real life experiences, with my job and all those things I've done and went through with like just surrounding my life around my career or other situations or with the girls, like all these little experiences that I've had in my life play a huge role into how I've been approaching YouTube all these years I've been on YouTube. Yeah, but throughout this whole time I've had balance because I was forced to have balance because I had a full-time job. But yeah, that's just me, and you know what, honestly, I really hope that somebody's watching this video. I hope this stuff helps somebody out and stops somebody from quitting, because I do think also something to consider is that these creators have hit a point in their career where, yeah, they're pretty much set. And I guess I just don't want this situation to stop people who haven't started yet or are just starting and see all these people quitting and they feel like, oh, this might be too hard. Because again, you just gotta do it right, you know? And it's not hard. That's the thing about it. It's not even that hard to do this right. Like, keep it simple. Don't get so focused on the numbers. And when you're ready, and if you ever do go full time, just make sure you have some balance and make sure you don't overscale, along with keeping your priorities straight. And I know y'all a bunch of ninja bosses, but I'm just super saying I do not want anybody ever telling me, or I don't want to hear anything about you guys basically saying that you can't even find time to hang out with your wife or your family, because you got to remember, pimping, that's no excuse. You need to be killing it at home just as much as you are killing it on YouTube. Like, pimping, write that down. I personally think that when you're overscaling or you're not setting boundaries or there's too many cooks in the kitchen, I think that is dangerous because it does throw that balance off. And it does it in like a sneaky way, to the point where you think that everything is Gucci, when in reality is you're being pulled in like millions of directions, when all you really wanted to do was create. But yeah, those are my thoughts on everybody quitting YouTube. Again, this is no shade and not a diss track towards any of these creators. As a matter of fact, I am extremely happy for a lot of these guys because they obviously needed it, like for real. Like, again, so no tea, no shade to them. What do you guys think about all this? I would love to know in the comments below. But yeah, that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. And also if you want to buy me a coffee, don't be shy. The link is down below because it helps out the channel a lot. But if not, no tea, no shade, because y'all know I ain't a hater. We just talked about that back there. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and don't worry about me. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. This is something for me. This is really special for me. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. This just makes me too happy to do. Like, I just can't give that up. But yeah, I hope today's vlog episode helped some of you guys out. And again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed making it. I will see you in the next one.